Hello YouTube world, pretend farmer here. Not a real farmer, just pretending. We got this nice warm spring day today. We got a bag of sunflower seeds. The chickens are happy right now. And that means the pretend farmer is happy. You know, one of my subscribers recently asked me a question and I told him I would address it with a video. This is a new chicken owner that just got a small number of chickens, some of which are buff Orpingtons. Now, those of you that know anything about buff Orpingtons, you know that they're known for their broodiness. Certain breeds of chickens are more prone to going broody than other breeds of chickens. We've talked before about how your commercial layers, they almost never go broody. You know, your sex links, your golden comets, all those. Bad idea if you want a broody hen. Buff Orpingtons are one of the most notorious hens for going broody. You just got chickens, you're intimidated about having a broody hen. What do? Well, I got good news. Just because you got Buff Orpingtons or any breed of hen that is prone to broodiness, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have broody chickens. You can see here we've got a plethora of chickens here on the pretend farm. We have all sorts of different sizes, shapes, and colors. All these different chickens. We currently have about 19 hens. Now, during last summer, we had 3 chickens go broody. Guess what? None of those 3 hens that went broody were even Buff Orpingtons. Now, just so everybody knows what we're talking about here, Buff Orpingtons are these fat yellow chickens that you see walking along the fence line. So no, just because you got Buff Orpington hens, yes, they do tend to go broody. That's one of their breed characteristics. They make great mothers. They often will go broody. But we've had as many as 6 Buff Orpingtons here at one time before, and none of them went broody. What you should be worried about instead is snacks, because you're going to need lots of these to keep your chickens happy. Here's the thing, if you just got a few hens and no rooster, your eggs are not going to be fertile, which means having a broody hen is going to be completely pointless. It's going to be a waste of your time, a waste of the hen's time, and eggs are going to go to waste if you don't gather them. So you absolutely don't just want to let your hen collect eggs and sit on them knowing they're not going to hatch. So what do you do if you end up with a broody hen then and you don't really want one? Well, there's some people that will show you a technique where you can actually dunk the chicken in cold water. Many people believe that that cold water will actually kind of knock the chicken out of their broodiness. I've heard some people say it works. I've heard other people say no, they go right back to being broody. Sounds like a real big pain in the butt to me. Here's what the pretend farmer proposes you do. If you got a hen that goes broody and you know your eggs are not fertile, they're not going to hatch, give her her own special eggs and put some golf balls underneath of her, or maybe some plastic fake eggs. That'll keep her occupied. It'll give her something to do until she gets out of the broodiness, and it'll ensure that you can keep picking your other eggs. Now, these broody hens will often steal eggs from adjacent nest boxes because they like to hoard like that when they go broody. So you'll want to check under her to make sure she's not actually gathering eggs throughout the day, because they will accumulate. Most hens here on the pretend farm that are broody, they don't get too feisty when we reach under them and pick the eggs out. I've heard other people say their hens will peck at them, even draw blood, because they don't want their eggs being messed with. So you may have to get a pair of gloves, worst case scenario. Getting eggs can sometimes be dangerous when you got a broody hen. Now, if you don't mind adding some extra chicks to your flock, you can order some fertile hatching eggs and place under the hen. She'll hatch them out, raise them up just as her own. Or you can go to the store and buy chicks that are just like day or 2 old chicks and actually place them under her at night. And more times than not, those chickens will adopt the baby chicks and raise them up just as if they had hatched. You take the fake eggs away, you replace them with chicks. They're not that bright. They're going to think that's what hatched, and they're going to raise them up just as if they were their own. Now, one thing about doing this is if the chicks are more than a couple days old, a lot of times they won't take them, and there's never anything that's guaranteed. You want to have a brooder plan in place just in case she rejects these adopted chicks and says, no, I'm not going to foster them. Have something ready so that you got a backup plan. But it is a very easy way to add chicks to your flock to to buy some from the store, put them under your broody hen, and the cool thing is if you get sexed pullets, those are chicks that are supposed to be all hens. So you pretty much know, unless a mistake was made at the hatchery, that you're not going to end up with any roosters. And having said that, we've ended up with like 2 different roosters doing this. Sometimes they do get it wrong. But when you hatch eggs, 50% of them is going to be roosters. After hens are broody for a couple weeks, if the eggs don't hatch, they're eventually going to snap out of it. Or at least that's how it's happened here. Our eggs are fertile here on the pretend farm. Special thanks to Bucky for fertilizing all these eggs. Thank you, Bucky. So more than likely, if you've just got a couple Buff Orpington hens, you won't even have to worry about any of this stuff, because chances are they're not going to go broody. You know, typically hens, unless they actually see a clutch of eggs, they won't go broody anyway. And so as long as you're gathering your eggs regularly, keeping your nest boxes empty, you kind of can discourage broodiness to an extent. It's really nothing to lose any sleep over. Well, we hope this advice has been helpful. And until next time, this is the Pretend Farmer signing out.